Eating beggars won't make you an angel, you know. The neighbor's sneering words hung in the evening air as the young woman placed a warm meal beneath the bridge, beside a thin, weathered homeless man. She didn't respond, just silently left an extra blanket and walked away. The same quiet ritual she'd performed every evening for years. Until her wedding day, when she emerged without a father to escort her, and a man in full military dress uniform stepped forward, saluted, then offered his arm to walk her down the aisle, leaving the entire church breathless with emotion. Anna Nguyen, 28, moved with practiced efficiency in the small restaurant kitchen where she worked as a chef. Her skilled hands plated not only the evening's final orders, but also prepared an extra meal, carefully packaged in a recyclable container with a proper set of utensils wrapped in a cloth napkin. "Another dinner for your shadow?" asked Marco, the dishwasher, without malice. Unlike others, he never judged her evening ritual. Anna smiled. Everyone deserves a hot meal and a bit of dignity. Each night after her shift ended at Le Petit Bistro in downtown San Francisco, Anna would make the same 10-minute detour on her walk home. The small bridge near Sherman Street housed a quiet community of homeless individuals, including an older man who kept to himself, separate from the others. He never panhandled, never caused trouble. He simply existed in the shadows, invisible to most passers-by. But not to Anna. The first time she'd noticed him 3 years ago, something in his posture, a certain dignity despite his circumstances, reminded her of her late father. That night, she'd impulsively offered him her own dinner. His surprised, grateful eyes had sealed her commitment to return. "You're wasting your time and money," her neighbor Mrs. Geller often complained, watching Anna prepare to leave her apartment with the nightly food package. "Those people choose that life. They don't want real help." Tonight, Mrs. Geller was entertaining friends on her balcony when Anna exited the building. Their conversation paused as they watched her familiar evening departure. "Feeding beggars won't make you an angel, you know," Mrs. Geller called out, loud enough for her friends to hear and chuckle. "They'll just expect handouts forever." Anna continued walking, her posture straight, her expression unchanged. She'd heard it all before, from neighbors, co-workers, even dates who'd found her ritual strange or naive. Her father, a Vietnamese immigrant and military veteran who'd raised her alone after her mother's death, had taught her that kindness wasn't about recognition or reward. "Compassion given in silence," he'd told her, "is the only kind that matters." When she reached the bridge, the older man was in his usual spot. His clothes were worn but clean, his gray beard neatly trimmed despite his circumstances. He never spoke beyond a quiet, "Thank you," but his eyes, alert and intelligent, conveyed volumes. Tonight, she noticed him shivering slightly in the evening chill. Without hesitation, she pulled out a spare scarf she'd brought and placed it beside the meal. On her way home, Anna glimpsed her reflection in a storefront window. Not a halo in sight, just a woman doing what felt right, regardless of who was watching or what they thought. One stormy Tuesday in March, rain lashed against Anna's umbrella as she made her way to the bridge. Few people were out in such weather, but she never missed a night, rain or shine. The older man sat huddled against the concrete pillar, trying to stay dry beneath the meager shelter of the bridge's overhang. His clothes were soaked, despite his efforts. Anna set down her umbrella, balancing the food container as she pulled a weatherproof jacket from her backpack. "This was my father's," she said, breaking their usual silence. "It's waterproof and should keep you warmer." He looked up, startled by her words after so many silent exchanges. His eyes, a striking deep blue, studied her face carefully before accepting the jacket with a nod. The next morning, Anna found a small folded note tucked into her apartment door. "Thank you for seeing me as a human being." The handwriting was precise and educated, not what most people would expect from someone living on the streets. Anna placed the note on her refrigerator, touched by this first communication. After that night, Anna began including small notes with the meals. Nothing intrusive or demanding, just human acknowledgments. "Hope you enjoy the pasta. My dad's recipe. Stay dry tonight. They're predicting more rain. The soup might be a bit spicy. Let me know if you prefer milder next time." Sometimes she'd find brief replies waiting at her door the next day. Never personal details, just small appreciations or preferences. This delicate communication continued for months, a careful dance of respect and boundaries. Then, one day in late summer, he wasn't there. Anna returned the next night. The spot remained empty. For a week, she continued bringing food, leaving it in their usual place, but it remained untouched. By the second week, she accepted he was truly gone. She worried, but had no way to know what had happened or where he might have gone. 3 weeks after his disappearance, an unmarked envelope arrived at the restaurant addressed to "The Chef Who Brings Evening Meals." Inside was a simple card. "Your kindness gave me the strength to reclaim my life. I've found shelter and purpose again. The world needs more souls like yours." It wasn't signed, but Anna knew. She smiled through unexpected tears, both sad and happy. Whatever journey he was on, she hoped it was leading somewhere better. Life continued. Anna received a promotion to head chef. She began dating Michael, an architect with kind eyes who didn't think her compassion was naive. When he proposed a year later, she accepted, though the happiness was tinged with sadness that her father wouldn't be there to walk her down the aisle. In the weeks before the wedding, Anna often found herself thinking about the man from beneath the bridge. Had he truly found his way? Was he safe? Had the small kindnesses she'd offered actually mattered in the grand scheme of his life? One evening, she found herself walking past the bridge, though it was no longer on her regular route home. The spot where he'd sat remained empty, but something caught her eye. A single white daisy placed precisely where she used to leave the food containers. Anna looked around, but saw no one. Yet somehow, she felt certain it was a message, a small reassurance that wherever he was, he remembered. As her wedding day approached, Anna felt both joy and sorrow, the bittersweet reality of celebrating without her father there to see it. She had asked her uncle to escort her down the aisle, but he'd fallen ill just days before the ceremony. "I'll walk alone," she told Michael. "It's not traditional, but then, neither are we." The night before the wedding, Anna stood by her window, looking at the stars. She had prepared herself to walk alone. But in her heart, she still wished her father could see this moment, could know the woman she had become. Neither could have predicted what would happen next. The church glowed with afternoon light filtering through stained glass. Guests filled the pews, the soft murmur of conversation building anticipation. Anna waited in the small antechamber, her simple white dress catching the light. The absence of her father felt like a physical presence, an emptiness beside her where he should have stood. Her friend Lisa peeked in. "Everyone's ready. Are you sure you want to walk alone?" Anna nodded. Dad would understand. As the music began and the doors opened, Anna took a deep breath and prepared to step forward into her new life. That's when she saw him. Standing at attention just inside the entrance was a tall man in a full military dress uniform, medals gleaming on his chest, white gloves crisp against dark fabric. His posture was impeccable, his gray hair cut short beneath his service cap. It took her a moment to recognize him. The man from beneath the bridge, transformed. Clean-shaven now, his face revealed strong features and those same striking blue eyes, now bright with purpose rather than shadowed by hardship. The entire church fell silent as he approached Anna and executed a perfect military salute. "Lieutenant Colonel Robert Harrison, United States Army, retired," he said, his voice strong and clear. "I would be deeply honored to escort you down the aisle in your father's place, if you'll permit me." Anna's hand flew to her mouth as recognition and emotion washed over her. "It's you," she whispered. He nodded once, a familiar gesture she'd seen hundreds of times beneath the bridge. 3 years ago, I was at my lowest point. A decorated officer, reduced to homelessness after PTSD, destroyed my career and my marriage. I had given up. His voice remained steady, but emotion flickered behind his disciplined expression. Then a young woman started bringing not just food, but dignity, treating me like a human being worth acknowledging when everyone else looked away. Murmurs rippled through the church as guests began to understand the unfolding story. Your simple kindness, consistent, respectful, without demands, became my North Star. It reminded me who I once was, who I could be again. Colonel Harrison extended his arm. When I left, it was to enter a veterans rehabilitation program. I've spent the past year rebuilding my life, reconnecting with my family, and counseling other veterans. I tracked you down to thank you properly, only to discover your wedding announcement. The timing seemed significant. Anna, overwhelmed, found herself unable to speak. Instead, she placed her hand on his offered arm, a gesture of acceptance. "I knew your father was a veteran," the colonel continued softly. "I recognize the jacket you gave me. The unit insignia on the inside pocket was from my old command. When I realized that connection, well, some might call it coincidence. I call it providence." As they prepared to walk down the aisle, he leaned closer. "Your father would be proud of the woman you've become. I know because, for 3 years, you embodied everything honorable about military service without ever wearing a uniform. Duty, compassion, and unwavering commitment to those who cannot help themselves." The wedding march began again. Anna, tears streaming freely now, walked beside Colonel Harrison with her head held high. Each pew they passed contained faces transitioning from confusion to understanding to profound emotion. Michael waited at the altar, his own eyes glistening as he witnessed this unexpected chapter in their love story. When they reached the front, Colonel Harrison placed Anna's hand in Michael's. Then, to everyone's surprise, he removed one of his medals, a Bronze Star for Valor, and pressed it into Anna's bouquet. "For extraordinary kindness under harsh conditions," he said loud enough for the front rows to hear, "and for saving at least one life without ever knowing you were doing it." He stepped back, saluted once more, then took his place in a pew that had been reserved for family. As the ceremony continued, not a dry eye remained in the church. The simple wedding had transformed into something transcendent, a testament to how small acts of compassion can alter the trajectory of lives in ways we may never witness. During their vows, Anna and Michael added an unplanned promise: to always remember that every human being deserves to be seen, acknowledged, and treated with dignity, regardless of their circumstances. After the wedding, Anna and Michael postponed their honeymoon, instead hosting a reception that became something more, a gathering where Colonel Harrison shared his full story, inspiring everyone present. For 30 years, I served my country proudly, he told the hushed room. Then I came home from my final deployment, unable to sleep without nightmares, unable to function in civilian society. I lost my marriage, my home, eventually, my will to continue. He described his gradual descent into homelessness, the shame that kept him from seeking help, the invisibility he felt as people walked past without meeting his eyes. Then Anna appeared, offering not just food, but something far more nourishing, acknowledgement of my humanity. No questions, no judgments, no requirements. Just simple kindness, night after night. In the weeks following the wedding, the story spread, first locally, then beyond. A news reporter who'd attended as a Friends Plus One wrote a feature that went viral. How 1,000 meals changed 2 lives. Anna received messages from people worldwide who had been inspired to start similar initiatives in their communities. Rather than seek the spotlight, she and Michael channeled this unexpected attention into action. They founded Visible Hearts, a program that paired restaurants with homeless outreach services to provide dignified meals delivered with respect. The organization emphasized the importance of consistency and personal connection over grand but temporary gestures. Colonel Harrison became the program's first director, using his military logistics experience to maximize their impact. His presence lent credibility in circles where homelessness was often dismissed as a character failure rather than a complex human crisis. Mrs. Geller, Anna's once judgmental neighbor, approached her in the lobby one evening. "I was wrong," she admitted, her usual confidence subdued. "I never considered that the man you were helping might be someone's father, someone's veteran. I just saw what I expected to see." She hesitated, then added, "My brother served in Vietnam." He struggled afterward. "If someone had shown him the kindness you showed, Colonel Harrison." The sentence remained unfinished, but Anna understood. The next day, Mrs. Geller volunteered for Visible Hearts. 6 months after the wedding, Anna and Michael finally took their honeymoon. When they returned, they found their apartment door decorated with dozens of small notes, messages from people whose lives had been touched by their initiative. One stood out, written in now familiar precise handwriting. "You taught me that sometimes the greatest act of courage is simply seeing another person's pain and not looking away. Now others are learning the same lesson. This is how healing begins. Not with grand gestures, but with small moments of human connection, repeated faithfully until they become a bridge strong enough to walk across." Anna's story reminds us of simple truths easily forgotten. Kindness doesn't require recognition to have value. Small acts of compassion, consistently performed, can create profound change. Never judge someone's worth by their current circumstances. See people as they could be, not just as they are. The military taught Colonel Harrison about duty. Anna taught him about dignity. Together, they demonstrated how healing occurs when we combine both. We may never know the full impact of our kindness. The lives we touch continue beyond our sight, creating ripples we cannot measure. But this much is certain. A meal offered with respect nourishes more than the body. It feeds the human spirit. Has someone's quiet kindness changed your path? Share your story, or tag someone whose compassion made a difference in your life. Let's fill the comments with gratitude, because acknowledging goodness helps it grow in a world that desperately needs it.
I just want to take a moment to say a huge thank you to each and every one of you. Folded hands, your love, support, likes, comments, and subscriptions mean the world to me. Without you, this journey wouldn't be possible. Every view, every share, and every encouraging word keeps me motivated to create more content for you all. I'm truly grateful to have such an amazing community by my side. Let's keep growing together and making this journey even more special. Red Heart.